Hello everybody, this is a Lamley showcase. I am out in the middle of nowhere. Let me give you a sense. One of the coolest roads, I would say in Utah, but I'd venture one of the coolest, most beautiful roads in the entire country. Right in the center of the state. But it's off season, so it's quiet. There's hardly any cars. I think I've seen a couple since I've been driving around. I have Team Transport here with me. Sun is actually going down. I guess this might even be a better background, but I always like the roads. But here, what we'll do, we'll go do different backgrounds because this location is pretty cool. Let me show you. Well, I've got the next mix of Team Transport, and it's a doozy. I think it's going to be very popular, but there's a bonus fourth model, and I think we'll just start with that. I'm going to show it packaged where I'm at now, and then we'll go to either the studio or my backyard to open these up and showcase the models, put them on the turntable. But at least you can see what the models are here, and we'll start with this. This is the new Legends. This is the fourth, right? First one was a Corvette. Next one was a Nova, third one was a Porsche, and now we get a BMW with the Hot Wheels Rally Hunter. It's here. Obviously going to be at the Legends Tour. I don't know exactly, what, when, and where, and how, all the details. All I know is that Mattel sent this over with the latest mix of Team Transport, and it's pretty cool. So, love that it's the BMW M3. I'll do some history of these because I think that all the models in here merit some background. So we'll do that in the showcase, but there is the Legends. All right, I decided to film the rest of this in the studio, so we're going to be going back and forth and back and forth. And let's just get this car show going right now. This is the BMW M3 and the Hot Wheels Rally Hauler. I think I called it Hunter in the clip from the highway, but that's okay. This is the Legends model. Give you some close-ups in package. I'll turn this around so you can see the art. You can see this. Now, this won't be in stores per se, right? You're going to have to get it at the Legends event or online through Mattel when they announce, I think it's the day of events as they go. So this background is the Hot Wheels Design Center. I think they've been doing that before. And then obviously the BMW M3. Let's fill up these slots. And we'll start with by going through the BMW M3. This one has had, I talk about cars that have had kind of a rich kind of run. I talk about the R32 Skyline. BMW has too, all things considered. We've gotten some good kind of racing versions, some decent kind of street versions. Obviously, it starts with this Fast and Furious version in white with the very unique colored wheels. And we've seen repeats and stuff. But this is, again, I'll make the argument every time. This is why I like Fast and Furious. We have this casting because of the Fast and Furious licensing budget. Next one this was from Deutschland Design and Car Culture, I believe, right? In blue. I think that's correct. Blue with the black rims. I love this one. And the other thing about this is you have street versions, but they all take on very different looks. I'll mention this as we go because, it's not just, a bunch of plain cars. It's a really, really, each look, obviously white with the whatever teal colored or green colored rims. Then you get blue with black rims. Then right after that from Team Transport, there was this Eibach version with gray rims. 10 spokes getting played a lot in this, but not all the time. But this one is the Eibach Team Transport set, so it gets the Eibach kind of racing look, which is nice. Number 46, obviously, because of the E46. Keep it on going, then all of a sudden it switches up to this M version from the M Racing, I guess you'd call it M Racing, or just M Series BMW M diorama set. It had the M2, M3, and M5, right? And this one was really cool with the number 3 little racing number and the M stripes. Then what was next? What was this set called again? I can't even remember. But the look changes. This is the one with the Volvo in and everything else. I cannot remember the name of the set. I don't remember. Anyway, plain red. So we have plain white, plain blue, now plain red with the chrome 10 spokes. That one looks really cool, especially because it gets the chrome 10 spokes, so it really changes the look. And then the last one, I mean, is this the best color? it might be the best color, and just so accurate. It's just so right on for a BMW, and I love that it got first one to get the 5 spokes and the chrome lipped 5 spokes. I mean, just look at that right there. Now we're not done. I won't put this in there because it has the because it has this base, but this is the from what year was this one? I can't remember. 22 obviously is the number, but we had this racing version, another M version from the Mexico convention in 2022, and this thing is sweet with the M racing stripes, and obviously it's a good companion to the other one from the M series set, but this one, they just look so good together, and this one with the racing stripes starting at the hood, wrapping around to the side, and then the chrome 10 spokes is fantastic as well. How's that for a family? What's funny, I'll go ahead and move this one out of the way. What's funny is I think the least desirable will end up being, at least looks wise for me, is this Legends set. It's cool because the Legends cars have been looking, they've all looked different. We've got a Corvette. I'm not even going through those. Corvette, Nova, Porsche, right? Is this the 4th one? I believe it is. And it looks good. I like it with the kind of the white and the yellow trim, and then of course the Rally Hauler. So we'll go ahead and open this one up. Doing it in this little studio isn't easy. We'll look at the hauler first, just put on the turntable for a second. This is the first of 2 times we'll see it in this video. We've seen a few versions of this one. I guess yeah, I'm walking through enough of these cars, so we're gonna be focusing on the new hauler. So this one, you know, it's really, you could tell it's really based on a rally model. Or a rally van, you know, and they've done it with rally sets in the past, and so that one looks cool. Of course, there's the trailer as well, but let's just put this BMW on the turntable. Looks good in yellow. White 10 spokes look really good on this one too. It definitely takes on a new look with the other one, so I think that is pretty sweet. And I mean, it's you know. It's a Legend set. It's cool to have the Legend set. It's not as good looking as some of the other ones. I think people will want it because it's a very cool. I like that they did it with the Rally Hauler. But I would say compared with the other 7 versions of this BMW, it's probably the least desirable. So we'll go ahead and put that one right there. We're probably gonna have to reset this little background with the other cars, but that's okay. We will go ahead and get to the next one. Here is the next one. You can see the road in the background, the highway. You might see a car coming. I have no idea. You might know it before I do. So let's go to the next set of 3. And 77, 78, and 79. I haven't really been paying too much attention to the numbers. Obviously, with like the Supreme and a couple others, obviously the Legends were well into the 80s for these Team Transport. But let's go through these as well. This set, obviously, we're gonna want to do. We're gonna want to look at the car a little bit closer once it comes out, because we got half of the Audi S4 Quattro, along with the Fleet Flyer. Love that this one has Audi badging on it. Love that they're going with that racing deco on the S4 Quattro. Now, of course, with this S4, it's not the actual racing car. Matchbox is doing one of those, actually. But, you know, with the spoiler is my assumption, because this is the S4 casting. BMW M3, Audi S4, we're going right with those mid-size, and these are like early 2000s, right? These models right here. But, yeah, that one is pretty cool. We'll go ahead and get that one opened up as well. All right, Audi set. This one's pretty sweet too. We've got, I don't know what the background is on this one, some sort of racetrack it looks like. And then you get the Audi racing look. We'll pull this one out there, Audi Sport. I think the car itself with this deco would have a spoiler and stuff, and Matchbox is actually doing a version of this car with this livery and spoiler and everything else. That's coming in Mattel Creations. Maybe we'll do a compare and contrast once that comes out. But Audi S4 Quattro, we'll go through that car, and the Fleet Flyer. Let me move that out of the way. Let's talk Audi. I think we've had 4 previous versions. We'll just keep things going German for a minute. You know what? I should say, I was going to add this one. I can add from the 2-pack. I actually did. Let me just show you something. This is just a little side note. Should have shown this one. It does appear that they have based the M3 GTR off of this casting. It does, well, I mean, not exactly, but it does seem like they've tried to keep the proportions pretty much intact. So that's kind of nice. So you could technically add to this whole family the GTR, just the E46s kind of all together. That kind of looks good. That's just a little side note because that's coming out right now. I've already featured that one. All right, let's get back to the Audi S4 Quattro debut. Deutschland design, I believe, in blue. I'm guessing Jimmy Lou would admit that this one was made because of his desire for this car to be made. He's a big fan of the S4 Quattro, this generation. And it is, when I think of an Audi S4, this is the model I think of, this generation. It's very, I mean, it's rounded. It's got a little bit of the rounded, you know, from coming out of the 90s. And then, I don't know, it's just kind of got it going. It's just kind of like how I think of Audis, right? I think of the wagons, I think of the RS2 and of course the Avant RS6, but I don't know. This is just how I think of it. Next one was in yellow with the chrome rims. I actually thought this one was really nicely done. It's very similar to the M3, right? You get plain colored cars, but I'll give the Mattel, the Hot Wheels design team, credit for not just going, let's do a blue one and a red one and whatever. Let's mix it up a little bit. So you get these two plain versions. There's a third one coming, but in between it hit Boulevard in a tribute livery, right? In the racing tribute livery. So this will be nice because we're going to get a second tribute livery with the Team Transport set. So you got this set, and then you have the RS2 and the RS6 that share this, you know, obviously along with the Quattro itself in basic. Hopefully that moves to premium one of these days. And then we went back to the plain color. And again, I mean, look at this. You got, with the BMW, you get these plain colors, but done with different wheels. And this one is the first one to get the 5 spokes as well, chrome lipped as well. And they all look different. So you've got a nice family of cars for sure. All right, so let's get to the set itself. I am really fond of this one. And this is one I'd be probably most excited about of the trio if it wasn't for the Toyota set, but we'll get to that in a second. All right, let's open this one up. We already talked about the art. Little protector thing there. Take that out of the way. Move the car out of the way. Here's the hauler. Was this from the very first mix of Team Transport? I believe so. Rims look good on this one. I like that it does get the Audi badging, not on the cab, but it does on the box. And that's nice because it seems like some brands don't want to see their branding on something that isn't something they made. Audi said it's cool to put it on this. And you get a sense too why Hot Wheels has a fleet of unlicensed haulers, right? Because there's just going to be some that you can't always match a Mercedes to a Mercedes or an Audi to an Audi or whatever, right? So it's nice to have these, and then hopefully these brands like Audi say, yeah, that's cool, just put their logo on, or put our logo on that unlicensed truck. So that one looks nice. Let's talk about the model itself. So I can't, you'll have to tell me. I know this is a racing livery. You get it with that kind of with the Audi symbols, across the side, and I can't remember what circuit, what era that car came from, but this one does look nice. Obviously, it's the street version of the Audi S4. And, people say, well, do a real one with the spoiler and everything else. I get it, and maybe that's a casting they'll do one of these days, but for now you get this tribute livery, and I think it looks cool. Especially since we already have the Quattro livery on there, it's kind of nice to have the two of them together. So I think this is a very, very cool set. Move that out of the way. And I can even put this one underneath, and then you got these two tribute liveries that I think look very cool. So digging the Audi. I'm digging the Audi. Let's get on to the next one. All right, I'm quite fond of this shot. This is where the road curves around, and the last angle you saw goes off in that direction, but this is one of the cooler spaces, and when it's summertime, there's too much traffic. So then it might be coming here. I'll show you the DeLorean real quickly. This is the DeLorean and the Rally Hauler. This is the second Rally Hauler in this set. The DeLorean is cool. I think when we did the sneak peek video, the team told us that this is kind of a fantasy racing deco. I don't think a DeLorean was ever done with a racing deco, but the number 88 is the obvious reference here. I don't think I need to explain it, but very cool to do a number 88. That makes total sense. So we'll get this one open and take a look at that one. But I love this one. You know, you gotta go in some creative directions with the DeLorean casting, right? When you've got when it's basically was just it was all, you know, stainless steel, right? With one gold model, I think, and there might have been a black, I'm not totally sure. But you got to go with some fantasy stuff, and I think this one looks really, really cool. All right, the DeLorean set. The Rowley Hauler returns, Team DeLorean. As I said from Escalante, this is a bit of like a fantasy. Cool that they could do this with a DeLorean, like if a DeLorean was a race car. Well, of course, we have to go through some of the history of the DeLorean casting. It has kind of been everywhere, so I've really limited it down to three very specific models in premium. And, you know, you could talk about the Fast and Furious versions. There's like a billion of those. It's been in basic a billion times as Fast and Furious and as a basic model. The very first edition of what is this casting, I think was gold, was obviously gray to replicate stainless steel, black and gold, maybe in that order. And then we've seen it in different kind of, you know, just different kind of interesting decos since. It was a regular treasure hunt last year. It's been a super treasure hunt. It's like a tribute model. Anyway, I brought out three. So I'm going to go ahead and move the Audi just for a minute up here, and let's talk about those. So two in Boulevard, and I'm just going with the stock ones. And, you know, I'm trying to think, you know, again, this is from the original Boulevard, 2011, 2012, whenever it was. It's got those old school Real Riders on it, which I can't stand. I guess there's a time and a place for these, but, you know, Hot Wheels is definitely up their Real Riders game since this era. And this one, it's okay. I think this was supposed to kind of replicate what would be those style of wheels, but they look okay. And it's basically a raw casting, right? They just didn't paint it. They put, you know, some sort of finish on it, and gave it just the standard DeLorean treatment. So that one is nice. It returned to Boulevard several years later in the new Boulevard. I think this was about 2 or 3 years ago. And same thing, it's raw. It does get what you would call Trans Am or Watanabe rims. These are closer to the DeLorean rims, but not perfect. And I don't know if they have any that are perfect, unless you would go maybe like kind of fool around with the aero rims or something. I don't know. That's a possibility, but they don't have anything that really truly replicates, at least as Real Riders, that replicate the DeLorean wheels. But those are close, and that's fine. And this one obviously has a different finish. It has a little bit of a brighter, more I won't say chromy, but it does. I don't know. This one looks probably more accurate. This one's just a little shinier. And I want to bring out, it's actually not this casting. It's loosely based, well, not loosely, it's based on it, but it was from the RLC, except this isn't the RLC. The RLC was chrome. I didn't pull that one out. It had the Neo wheels. This is the convention model. I've pulled this out before, and it's got Manson's fading signature on it. I might have to have him refresh it one day. Old Real Riders as well, but this was done for Manson's convention dinner in Lombard, Illinois, 2019, I believe. Yep, there it's on the date, 2019. And they talked about, you know, Brendan Vituski, who helped design this as the tribute model to Manson, talked about how the finish for this, doing this kind of brushed metal look to make it look as close to stainless steel as they could. They said it took a lot of trial and error, and they'd probably never do it again, but it was totally worth it for this tribute model. And it becomes the DeLorean to have. They're more expensive now on the secondary market. Obviously, it's a convention model. But even besides that, it's just so cool. And it has the opening doors too. But it's a very, very cool model. And that finish is what really sells it. All right, let's get to the DeLorean itself. This is obviously very different. You wonder if they could do a team transport, like, and I've seen people do customs of like the DeLorean from Back to the Future being shipped in the, you know, whatever truck that was. I don't even remember. Let's open it up. This is great. The racing version. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it, and I think people will want this one. Put that off to the side. We'll just look at the rally hauler really quickly on the turntable. Team DeLorean. I like kind of there's an appropriate styling here that's kind of does it scream 80s? I don't know, but it kind of feels 80s. The white rims I think is a big part of that for this one. So I think this one with the black trim and everything kind of works. I love the way they've kind of expanded that DeLorean font into the Team DeLorean. I think that's pretty sweet. And then there's the trailer. Not much to show you there. It's just a trailer in black. And here is the car itself. So white rims is what sells this one. You got DeLorean on the windshield. You get this red and blue striping. Yeah, it's the usage of the DeLorean font. It's obviously the number 88. It's a great Easter egg, which maybe it's an obvious Easter egg, but it works. If you don't know, I can't help you there. And you just you have to know. I don't have to explain 88. But the black trim, the DeLorean font, the white rims is what makes this, for lack of a better term, not dumb. You know, it works. It's a very cool car. I think seeing this coming down on a racetrack or at some sort of like Cars and Coffee, I think would be kind of cool. Maybe the DeLorean fans would disagree, but you want to see them in their proper stainless steel look. But I think this is a nice use of this casting, so I am all for it. All right, so I don't know where I've got the Audi up here, so maybe I'll just put that right there for now for our kind of stacked car show. What is it? Carvana is that car? Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the set, or the model, or whatever, the set of this mix, right? Let's get to that. This is going to be the set to have. This is the Toyota Soarer, the second Soarer. Only the second time this has been, Fast and Furious last year. Now we get it in plain white. I cannot wait to open this one. It's got some TRD trim to it. But the other car here that I'm really excited to showcase, and this is why we're going to move over to the studio or to the backyard to do this, is the new Kosuka Hauler. Kosuka Hauler is what it's called. I don't know if we can see that there where you can. It is a double-decker hauler. I'll bring out the other one. This is the second double-decker that we've seen. I think the Ford truck was the other one, right? So this one, full-on Japanese styling. It's a fantastic truck. And I can't wait to fool around with this one, just doing some stuff with it. It looks like it has a moving part on the back. I'm not entirely sure, but Ron Wong designed this one. Very, very excited to kind of see what is going on here, because it's one of the more stylized haulers. It's nice to see the licensed haulers move in, like we saw the Land Rover. We've seen the 4Runner, and we've had the VW and a couple others, the Ford truck. But it's nice to see some stylized haulers move in as well. So let's get to opening these up through the power of editing. I don't know when I'm going to do this, but a few days from now, probably, because I'm out here on the road. But had to show you this beautiful, beautiful scenery, as unique as it comes. All right, let's open these up. All right, let's get this thing open. So excited to see this one out of the package. I've kind of been dying to see it. So let's get to it. Ron Wong designed this one, as I said. And, well, let's just look at the art. Is that very similar to... It's very, very similar to this one, isn't it? Not exactly the same, but... very close, right, to the Audi set. Nonetheless, let's get to this one, Toyota Soarer, and the, you know, I think Kosoku, if someone can help me pronounce that, I would love it. Kosoku is, I looked it up, it means, in Japanese, it means speed of light or high speed, so, you know, call this the high speed hauler if you wanted to. In English, I cannot wait. All right, let's just get it open. The art is fantastic. The car looks good. I'm just so excited. This is, I've been waiting for the next version of this Soarer. Well, before we do it, why don't we pull out the only version of the Soarer from Fast and Furious last year? It was the first new model of 2024. Here it is now. It looks very, very cool. It's Fast and Furious casting. It has the Falcon trim. Other than that, it's super clean, plain. Love it, love it, love it. And was excited. I just love the stance of this one. It's a near perfect casting. It was one that I actually considered. There were too many other good castings that came out, but this is one I actually considered as my best premium of the year. I'm going to go ahead and put that one up. You can't even see it, but We'll revisit that in a second because we got a double-decker hauler that we got to fill up. So let's go ahead and open this one. You know, I usually give a lot of attention to the car, and very little attention to the hauler, but that's going to change in this case. All right, let's move the camera down so we can kind of see. In fact, I'm just going to clear all this out just so we can take a look at what's going on here. High-speed hauler. All right, we've got a moving part. We've got a little piece of plastic that appears to kind of take the entire... Oh yeah, see, so they've even shaped it off-center to make sure the car stays still and kind of pushed up towards the front. You know, it's kind of to make it off-center so it's not rattling around. That's kind of nice, but we got to make sure that everything works to get this out. So let's... Yeah, got to be a little careful with that. So there, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Kind of cool for presentation. They put some thought into that. I'll give it that. We'll put the car, you know, we'll do the car in a second, but let's just take a look. Oh, look at this. There's a lot going on here. Look at, oh, this is cool. All right, so we obviously have the moving part here. There's the back. Oh, it even has a license plate on it. Ron said, let me at it. I want to build a transporter, and boy, he did. So we'll get some close-ups of this real quick, and then we will put it on the turntable. But look at this detailing even on the bed. Look how nice that looks. Is that like a, that's a hook, right? Yep. Metal chassis, metal cab, and like, just look at the front here. So you get that same license. You get a lot of detailing there, modern headlights, everything. Obviously very, very Japanese. That is fantastic. There's no other moving components, so you're just gonna have to like place the car. We'll do that in a second. So let's just get it on the turntable so you can take a look at it. Kind of take this thing in. There was, well, I haven't even shown it yet. I guess once we get back from the turntable, this was the second double-decker hauler that we've seen, right? The Ford C, and I mentioned it, Ford C800 was the first. So now that we're back from the turntable, like there's the first one. This one had the moving part here. So the cars couldn't get up there on the ramp, but could get to the second portion. So that one is very cool, and I love that it's licensed, and I love that it's kind of a classic. So I've always been really fond of this hauler, but this one's going to be fantastic as well. So the cars can get up. They were just going to have to pretend to get them up to that portion, right? But still, it's a very, very cool model. I already showed you the car, so let's go ahead and roll this one up. We'll put it on the bottom, so it moves up here, and it gets its little slot right there. And let's talk about its successor in white. So plain white, obviously I'm going to be a fan of plain white. There's going to be no complaints there. It gets a small little TRD trim on it, just right at the bottom. I love that I don't know who did the graphics for this one, but I do think that's a very cool little subtle touch. You get the Yoda license plate. This thing is great. I love the badging in the front as well. Is that Toyota Soarer badging? It must be. So this one looks really good with these wheels. Absolutely love it. Love it in plain white. I could add it to the plain white family of JDM cars, which I think is a pretty rich family. And we can just assume that it made its way up to the top here. And that's quite a cool hauler. There you go. Toyota set wins for me. I do like the DeLorean set for its creativity. The Audi set's pretty cool. That's probably my second is the Audi. And then I would go BMW. I'd probably go DeLorean, then BMW, but doesn't matter. It's a really cool trio. I don't know if it beats the one that we had late last year with the 4Runner and the Nissan and the Toyota Off-Road. That was a really, really cool set collectively. But this new hauler and the Soarer is pretty darn cool. I'm really thrilled with this one. You guys tell me what you think. Hope you enjoyed the scenery. Hope you enjoyed the close-ups from the studio. I think this is a very, very cool set. I'd love your thoughts. Going to be in stores very soon, if not already. Thanks, everybody. Bye.